The smirk came easily to him, lazy and public. The kind meant to remind everyone who belonged and who didn't. "Let the girl try," he said, loud enough for the front row to hear, and laughter rippled through the stadium like a careless wave. She stood at the starting line, spikes digging into the track, feeling the heat of hundreds of eyes and the weight of a moment that could either break her or finally free her. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Anya, though most people there didn't know it. They knew her as the quiet one, the substitute, the girl who trained alone after practice because no one expected her to need the lane. She had learned early how to make herself small, how to turn doubt into a companion instead of a wound. Today though, the air felt different. Dust floated in a pale column of sunlight above the track. The wind tugged at the flags. Her hands trembled, not with fear exactly, but with the effort of keeping everything she'd carried inside from spilling out. She thought of her father, who worked nights and still showed up to every meet, standing by the fence with a thermos and a hopeful smile. She thought of the coach who'd once said, kindly, "Maybe you're better at cheering than racing." And she thought of the boy who smirked, the reigning champion, whose confidence filled the space like it was owed to him. The crowd murmured, a low hum of expectation and dismissal. The starter raised the pistol. Silence tightened around them. Anya inhaled. The track smelled of rubber and warm dust. Her heart beat loud enough to feel like a mistake. She questioned herself then, was this stubbornness or courage? Was it right to want something so badly when the world had already decided it belonged to someone else? She pushed the thought aside. There would be time for questions later. The crack split the air. She launched forward, not fast at first, but precise. Each step found its place like a promise kept. The champion surged ahead, smooth and assured, and the crowd leaned toward him as if pulled by gravity. Halfway down the straight, Anya felt the familiar burn creep into her legs. The voice that begged her to slow down, to be reasonable. She remembered the smirk. She remembered the nights alone. She leaned into the pain. The stands grew louder, then strangely quiet, as if the stadium itself was holding its breath. She could hear her own breathing now, sharp and rhythmic. She could feel the wind slip past her ears, the world narrowing to a line, and the sound of her feet striking in unison. She was gaining. Not dramatically. Not enough to be polite about it, enough to make people notice. With 50 meters left, doubt flared. What if she faltered? What if proving them wrong only proved her fragile? She thought she'd never see this moment again. She was wrong. She ran like someone who had waited a lifetime for permission, and finally realized she didn't need it. They crossed the line nearly together. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. The scoreboard flickered. Numbers rearranged themselves. Then a gasp tore through the crowd, followed by a roar that shook the metal bleachers. Anya slowed, confused, chest heaving, until she saw it. Her name, her time. A new record, bright and undeniable. The champion stared at the board, his smirk gone, replaced by something quieter and heavier. For a moment, Anya wondered if she should feel triumph or pity. The question mattered. She walked over, offered a hand. He hesitated, then took it. Applause rose again. Warmer this time, layered with whistles and cheers that felt like a collective apology. Her father was crying by the fence. The coach stood frozen, then smiled like someone learning a lesson too late. Anya felt the weight lift, not because she'd won, but because she'd been seen. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. Later, when the track was empty and the dust settled, the starting line looked ordinary again. But she knew better. She had stood there once, small and doubted, and left something larger behind. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more moments like this, and remember, sometimes all it takes is letting someone try.